Okay, so here we have today Asajj Ventress from the Star Wars The Black Series collection. This is a figure I have been very excited for myself because I am a big fan of Asajj Ventress. She is technically a Sith apprentice at certain points in the series. She comes from Dathomir. She would be... I'm not sure how that kind of works, if she still is a Night Sister or what, but the Night Sisters are the Witches of Dathomir, and they are basically the female side of the species on the planet, and the Sons of Dathomir are the Darth Maul types. Those are the male forms on the planet. So the females are the alphas of the planet. They stay to one side, the men stay to another. It's a really cool... The episode I think is actually called Night Sisters, if you want to watch that. And I have here Clone Commander Wolf in the background because he's the only unboxed Clone Wars figure I have out right now. So let me go ahead. I've already taken this out the top because that's the easiest way to get this new not square shaped box out. You see she has got the nice box art of herself. Let's see what it says on the back about her. An assassin trained in the ways of the dark side by Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress yearned to be considered a true Sith, but such status wasn't allowed under the Sith rule of two. And that is because Dooku himself was technically the apprentice to who we know as Palpatine, and she was the apprentice to Dooku, and so she wasn't technically a Sith, and that was the whole thing. She ends up kind of breaking off in the series from the Order because of all of that, if you can really call it an Order. And here she is. Let's take these lightsabers out really carefully. This does seem to be the ooh, I'm already excited about this. I can see they connect. This does seem to be the upgraded lightsabers. For they a couple of years, like a year ago, I guess, they probably started putting out, ooh, it's kind of hard to get out, putting out lightsabers that were a different material, much sturdier, across the board. Just, ooh, she matches the background. Just better lightsabers. So, initial first impressions, ooh, wow. Initial first impressions are good. I don't recall her being this brightly purple in the show, but I'm fine with it, I guess. I kind of dig it. Oh, there we go. Her skirt does move around, so that's why it looked a little bit short-waisted. She does. You can get it positioned right on her waist there. There we go. And it goes all the way down to her feet. This here in the front is plastic with painted on gold. Looks like some kind of funky-ass button here, holding it all together. That, you know, you have to be careful. That stays down here on her waistline where it... at her hips, I guess, where it belongs. I'm really, this is pretty good, honestly. Once again, I am struck with, oh, what? She's got butterfly shoulders? Look at this miniature butterfly shoulder they gave her. That's funky. I keep cutting myself off because I'm just looking at her for the first time as I'm recording this. But it always amazes me how Hasbro puts more effort into their Black Series female figures than their anything else. Well, there are just Marvel Legends is what I'm talking about. She looks pretty good. She doesn't have double jointed elbows. C'est la vie. That's, you know, I will grumble about that until I die because they're never going to do anything about it. This mid-section portion of her here, that's like the bluish, grayish, purplish thing, it's the same kind of material as this up here on her arms. Her arms are, like, alarmingly skinny. All the Black Series, well, most of Hasbro's female figures in general have very thin arms. I'm having a little bit trouble bending these. She's a bit stiff, and I have noticed over the past several figures that I've gotten, the arms just are, the joints, I should say, in general, just are a bit stiff. But she looks pretty fantastic. There's a tiny bit you can see on the chest up here. Where's the little pointer stick? You can see the chest up here, there's a tiny bit of paint leakage. Let's try and see her face. Ooh. It's not the best lighting on her face because of the way the sun is coming in the window right now. But it does look... Put your arms down, Asajj. It does look, whoops, pretty solid in the paint job. Difficult to say how much of the smudging around her eyes was meant to be smudging, but whatever it was meant to be, it does pull it off. What I'm kind of surprised about this figure, it really doesn't want to focus on her, does it? What I'm kind of surprised about this figure is how live action it looks. It's a little bit, it's good. It does look not so much like a cartoon face the way other figures from the animated show may have done. All the way around the back, really, honestly, the paint job looks surprisingly great. This was an online order. I don't think she's popped up in stores anywhere yet. Who knows? Not me. And she probably is going to appear places with real messed up paint apps. This is phenomenal paint apps in her face, I gotta say. But you can see very clearly how this might be super messed up on certain figures. However, maybe Hasbro has better checks and balances on their heads than they do the bodies, because you can see the leakage all in those areas around her chest. And even a tiny bit up here on her back, but not so much. The back it's a nice looking back. They gave her some shoulder bones. That's, you know, it's nice enough. Skinny little arms. Her feet are not as tiny as you may get certain other feet. It looks like her legs are kind of with the same material as this waistband up here. And not to be a total pervert, but just because I like to see how things go together. Oh, it's like they gave her like a bikini. That's funny. But this goes all the way up the legs. They're double jointed knees. Actually, they're not. Holy shit, they're not double jointed knees. Single jointed knee. That's interesting. That's interesting. I guess they figured since it's under a cloth, she won't need it. Interesting. That hasn't happened for a while, Hasbro. You guys are dropping the ball on that. I wonder if there's a reason for it. Readjusting her skirt, putting her back here, and let's take a look at... I can get her to stand. I don't want her to lean. I want her to stand. Nope, that's leaning. There we go. She's standing now. Okay. Alright, so lightsabers. She has from the show 2 twin red lightsabers, as she is a Sith. Let's see if it's gonna look at him. It really doesn't like me today. There we go. Technical issues, what can I say? You can see they are pretty much identical. Yeah, they connect. She's got the little handlebar there, and they should connect perfectly fine here. Just like that, right? That looks pretty good. I don't know, what do you think? Let's see if I stick this in her right hand. Like she's gonna go, I don't know, do some Sith shit. The little things sticking out of her hands, I'm a little bit, not sticking out of her hands, sticking out of the handles here, out of the side of the handles. I'm a little bit thrown off by, because they seem to be somewhat in the way of her actually being able to grasp it. Oh, there we go. I'm not really sure if she's supposed to hold it over the middle part or what, but there we go. She's holding it in one hand because she's a true boss. I honestly am having trouble remembering how we left off with her in the Clone Wars series, but if I recall, there is a little bit, if I may note here, there is a little bit of fuckery with the skirt. It looks like the skirt, if we can focus it here, if you can see that, the skirt is actually tucked into her seam, not into this belt. If you look in between there, that gap, you can kind of see how it's tucked in between her leg joint, it looks like, and coming around the side. That is causing some problems with it lining up properly with the belt and hanging properly at the back. This part here is a little bit, you have to have a fold in there, obviously, to have it hang wider than her waist size, but it does seem to have a little bit of a problem lining up with this belt, because it would be connected to the belt, but it doesn't seem to be connected to the belt. So from the back, in that one spot, it's kind of funky looking. potentially just a problem with this one. However, something like this with cloth goods, I doubt. And then if I kind of twist it, you kind of cover it up a little more. So you can probably rearrange it however you would like to make it look a little better. Ooh, my whole background's gonna fall. Overall, she's very nice. Where I was kind of going before is, I think we ended off with at Clone Wars with, she kind of went off on her own because she, you know, the Sith didn't want her. Obviously, the Jedi didn't want her. I remember she and Obi-Wan kind of had some interesting moments interacting with one another. I don't have an Obi-Wan animated figure. I don't know if there is one. I have the Ahsoka animated one, but she's in a box. There was an actress cast in the Obi-Wan series in a secret role. She is the actress who played the mother of the Sand Snakes, or possibly the leader of the Sand Snakes, however that worked in Game of Thrones. Theories are she may be playing Asajj Ventress. If that is the case, I am really excited. She clearly plays a lethal woman very, very well. And if you can't tell just by looking at this figure, Asajj Ventress, if we could focus on her camera, Asajj Ventress is lethal as anything. I absolutely love this character. I would love to see her in anything live action, really. I think that would be stupendous to see her translation into live action. I would just be giddy. and that's also because, you know, Sith women, she's really she's the only Sith woman we've ever actually met in any Star Wars media, right? Aside from, if we're talking TV and movies, she's the only female Sith we've ever met, or intended Sith, I guess. So that's pretty exciting. If we're gonna be really nitpicky about details on her design, her purple costume does go up into her head, which obviously her neck isn't purple. It's the same color as her head, but you know, it is how it is. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get both these. See, I'm having a little problem with, maybe it's just to make it, those little things on the handles, maybe it's just to make it so that's where they stop when you insert it into her hand. She doesn't have any spare hands or spare heads. I would have loved a spare head. This is not how you hold lightsabers. This is probably the worst lightsaber holding I've ever set up on a figure. But that little thing here, there between her fingers, it's really throwing me off because it's, okay, maybe like that. That's a little better. That's somewhat better lightsaber holding. Let's do it with the other one too. Just look a little silly. I mean, they all look a little silly. They're action figures, but we pretend they're cool. They are cool. There we go. Now she's got one in each hand. I'm not going to try posing her legs right now because I have a feeling my backdrop will fall. It's just leaning right now. I don't have a really high-tech setup. But if I can kind of just get her to stand a little bit, that would be excellent. Nope, she doesn't. The female feet are a little difficult to pose, as they always have been. But at least they didn't give her, I don't know if you guys have seen, but on the Marvel Legends female Sentinel, whatever it is, Prime Sentinel body thing, they gave her the child feet. I don't know why they did that, but there it is. Okay, I got her to stand. And here we have her next to her clone Commander Wolf. We're out of focus again. Overall, very pleased with this. They did make her a bit more violently purple. Violetly purple? Ooh, play on words. More than she was in the show, if I recall, but she still looks phenomenal, and seeing this somewhat cinematic looking version of her face makes me really, really, really hope that those rumors that actress who was cast in the Obi-Wan series in a secret role is going to be playing Asajj Ventress, because seeing this right now makes me want to see Asajj's whole arc fulfilled, whatever that may be. I want that. I would like to see that now. Actually, I just noticed this too. This is very nice detail. going from the purple down to being all goldish kind of more down here. It's a very nice little detail they put in there. It's funky how Hasbro, you know, decides what things they're going to put effort into and what things they're just going to throw together. I would say this figure is very good. She's on the better side of female figures. There are things that I would change if I could, but I would literally say that about every single action figure ever made. So, really pleased with this. Excited to see potential future projects with Asajj Ventress and potential future action figures that come from those projects. And now... oh shit, he fell backwards. Yeah. Okay, so now after having spent a little longer looking at her, her little lightsabers do come apart, and that's what those holes in the front of her thing are. I forgot in the show she does keep her lightsabers, the hilt attached to the front of her little dress thing, and it makes her look really badass. And then she can just take it off and stick the saber back together if I don't break it. These plastic pieces are a lot harder to use now than they used to be. They're a lot sturdier. Whichever end this is supposed to be. Sorry, Wolverine. There we go. I don't know why they have holes on both ends of that, but then she has her sabers, and they attach to the front. Congratulations to me for figuring that out.